I'm Dylan, and welcome to Twisted Rich Garage.
What's up, YouTube, and thanks for joining me on another episode of Twisted Wrench Garage. Now, you guys can tell I shaved the beard off. I was working on the house this past weekend, and it was so hot. There was just sweat dripping off me. I had to get up in the attic, move stuff around. I actually got the garage cleaned up a little bit better, got it organized a little bit better to my liking. Got a little bit more room out here. Moved a lot of car parts back to the shed, and things that are going to be upcoming or future plans for later on in time. But today we're actually going to be making some changes to the interior of Ramona here. I've got a plan to make some interior door panel cards to basically change the look of these door panels here. I did have the idea of maybe painting the door panels, but I don't really want to paint the dash because I do like the way it looks. I like the color. I think it's fine. I do think that if I was to paint the door panels, I would have a really hard time matching the color, and I don't really want to take the door panels all black and then have a red dash. I think it would clash in my opinion. But that's just me. You guys can do whatever you want. I have already went through and cleaned these door panels once whenever I first got it. There still is a little bit of whiteness up here, which I can handle later on in time. I don't really feel like it's necessary right now. I may pull these armrests off though and get those painted up to match the color of material I'm going to be using for these door cards. You might be able to see it over here on the side. It's the same material I used on the headliner. I'm going to be using it on the doors as well for the upper portion of the door, and then I've got an idea for the bottom portion as well. I went to Hobby Lobby to get the supplies I needed, and I got the material. And I was also going to use the same tacks that I used last time for the headliner, but unfortunately I didn't have any of the antique copper color. I guess they're no longer going to be getting those, and they basically said, hey, if you want what we have, you better grab it. So I did find an antique brass color, which is similar to the copper. It's not going to be that big a deal. Headliners up top, so you're not really going to be seeing the difference when you're in the vehicle or whatever, unless you really are trying to look for things like that. But they did trick me though. The antique brass that I found a container like this. It was on sale because, like I said, it's discontinued, so they can't get them anymore. Regularly, this was $22.99. It comes with 75 tacks in here, reduced down to $5.74. But they did trick me because with all the tags in here, I was like, okay, cool. So there's 75 in there. And then while I was there, I actually just cracked this open and just kind of looked inside this little spool here. And I saw like the same little metal heads that are on the tacks. And it tricked me, but because all it is just this thin, like, edging, I want to say, which I could throw on to the door panel if I want. I may just kind of look over it and see how it looks, but I don't think I'm going to go with it because I did do it on the headliner, so why would I do it on this one? But I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but this actually has pre-spaced holes on this, so I may be using this right here to be my template of spacing for my tacks. That way I know that they're relatively even on that note. And I'll probably just go, one in the corner here, and then I'll just go from there over and put it in. But yeah, I thought that was a little tricky there. They got me, but we'll find a use for that at some point. I bought 2 packages of this, 75 of those little pins each. But yeah, it's the antique brass. It's that color there. It's not as dark as the other ones. Let me grab one of those real quick. I can kind of show you. But you can probably tell by that, and I'll bring it a little closer. You can see it's a little bit different, definitely a darker color, but the brass will look fine on the material that I got. Let me grab a scrap piece from that last project. I've got it sitting around here somewhere. But here's a scrap piece, and this is what it looks like with the antique copper, and then the antique brass is gonna come out like that. So I mean, it'll pop out a little bit better on the door panels with the antique brass. And I mean, if I really wanted to, I could probably go through and change out the ones on the roof, but I'd have to go get some more of these tacks, probably 4 more packs of them, $2.99 each, and then I could swap all those out. But I'm not really that concerned about it. I got what I need to do for this project, I believe, and I think we're going to be just fine. Now, I did think about some of the methods of how I was going to mount the cards onto the door panels, and I think I came up with a solution. Me and my buddy Jason kind of came up with it. I picked up 2 different sets of screws. One are the 9 by 3/4, and one's a 9 by 1. It's an antique brass color, so it should match these pins real nicely. And I may just use one of these screws here in place of certain pins where I'm going to mount it to this actual door panels. I'm going to pull this off, and then I'll be able to mount it after that. I did go ahead and go through the process yesterday or the day before, and I went through and made some templates of what I'm doing. I did it on the driver's side, and that's all I need to do. I just flip it over for the passenger side. But what I did was I took some. I mean, this is what I had was Gorilla Tape. I didn't have any of my fat blue masking tape to tape over what I was doing. So I just used some of this Gorilla, duct tape, and I taped over basically what I was going to be covering up with the door card. Took my windshield or my window crank off. Took that off. Took my window crank off, and then I taped over the whole thing, just like you see here. And then I took a razor blade and cut around the edge of this whole area. And actually, let me get you guys in a better spot so I can show you what I'm talking about here. Just using an old Allen here. Pull that off. All right. So what I did was, like I said, I went through and I duct taped over all of this section here, all over this, and then even down here. And I took a razor blade and then I trimmed around the edge, and then I peeled that off and stuck it on some cardboard. And that gave me the ability to then have a good template that I can then transfer over to the other side, make sure it fits, and just like that, I've got a template. And then my door card that I'm actually going to, I'm calling them door cards, that are going to be put in are going to cover that section there. And then that's one piece, and I just got to flip it over for the other side. And then the other piece I've made for down here, you can see it, duct tape it just like the other. Now I got to flip it over, and then this will go down in here and be its own little door card. Let me get you guys in a position. I'm going to start getting these templates marked out onto the yucca board, and we'll start getting those cut out. I do need to go ahead and get these door panels pulled off. Do one at a time, not that concerned about it. I still got to go get the interior paint for this. I haven't gotten that yet. So I'll go ahead and get this door panel off, and we can get started. Looks way smaller. Looks like 7/16. Yeah, these little handles are a pain in the butt to get on and off. I know that for sure. Grab the wrong one again. Or I got to grab the wrong one again. Let's try this one.
there. Remove our screwdriver. Now I just need to get these door panel pins or clips out. So grab something to pry those out with. All right, got my pry tool. I just got some electric tape on it here. I don't have the actual clip remover itself, so I'm going to use this because it's what I have. With a little persuasion, it will come free. Yeah, I'm just using this part on the tape to pry it. That way I'm not doing any kind of damage to my door panel itself. And eventually, you go all the way around. Alright, at the bottom. And there's also a screw right here I need to remove. And this door panel should come free. Just like that. And our door panel's off. Alright guys, so I got my templates, I got my sawhorses set up with that yucca board that I use for the headliner. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and mark out all the cuts that I'm going to be making with my templates. That way I can cut this down to a smaller piece and work with that. That way I don't have all this giant board in my way. I'm sure I'm not the first person to do this. I'm sure there's several people on some Dodge groups and on the Facebooks that have done similar to this or the same thing. I'm pretty sure I saw a picture on one of those. It wasn't like this. I think the ones I saw were like the ones with the where they had the handle, and then it went in a U shape or a C shape all the way C shape, seashell, by the seashore. It's a C shape that goes like this, and you got the handle. Different door panel than mine. So there's that first one marked out. So that's going to be, let's see, this is the smooth side. So the smooth side has to go in. So this one is actually going to be the driver's side. So let's write driver on there. Because whenever I put the material on, I want to put it on the rougher side of this yucca board because there's a smooth and a rough. That way I know I'm getting a good adhesion with my material and my glue. So that is going to actually be the driver's side with it like this. And then when I flip it over like this, that'll give me my passenger side. So where can I do two of these at? So if we do one there. So I guess, yeah, I could just do it like that, and this one fit in here. No, I have to take it over some. Just trying to limit my size that I need and limit the amount that I need to cut off of this big sheet.
because I can use this for several projects. Maybe I do it like that, and then I'll just throw the other one on here on top, and I'll just cut this straight off here. Alright, we'll do that. So, mark this. And again, your template's not going to give you the perfect cutout. That way you want to, like I said, you want to cut a little bit extra, or leave yourself a little bit extra. That way you can fine tune it as you're laying it on the door panel. So that should be the passenger. And we just need to mark these. I think I can get one of them out of right here. And these bottom pieces are directional too. They have certain curves on each side that match up. Template's moving around here, so I'm going to eagle eye it here. See it move down quite a bit. Flip it over, because this is our driver's side, and we flip it over, and that's our passenger. Yeah, it's our passenger, just like that. That being said, we drew it like this, which means that this side here is going to be our passenger, I believe. And when we draw the other one, we flip it over like this. And trace it like that. This one should be our driver. So cut that section out there. And we were working with something a little bit smaller, easier to manage. Cut that out right there. So let me grab my saw and I'll cut it out. Alright, I got it cut down to a more manageable size. Got the other piece taken out of the way. So now I can just start cutting pieces out. And I still haven't upgraded to a jigsaw yet, so sawzall it is. Alright guys, we're going to get the rest of this done with a 36 grit sanding disc on an angle grinder.
Alright, we got the passenger side all knocked out. One of the driver's side's done. I just used the passenger side here to get it lined up. So this is where that top portion's gonna go. Still got to make the hole for the window crank. And there's our bottom portion. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to look good, I think. So we just got one more of that little short portion to do for the other side, and then we can start probably cleaning up. And it's already pretty hot out here. May call it a day. We'll see. All right. After a bit of a mess, maybe wipe my camera off. I don't know if you guys have got dust on you. Got dust all over the screen. But after a bit of a mess and one whoop-de-doo, got this one here that I messed up on, so I had to redo it. Matter of fact, since I'm thinking about it and just now saw it, I'm going to remark this one. Driver. Okay. So on this one here, I'll show you what happened. There's the passenger side all done, and then there's the driver's side. So those are all done, cut, and ready to, and shaped and ready to be put in after they get covered, and then we get some holes drilled for the mounting locations. But yeah, there's the passenger side. I'll just use this passenger door panel to show you what had happened. So on this one I gotta use it as the slick side up on this passenger side door panel. That way I know that I've got to flip it. So I think it went something like that, but I mean, you can tell just by looking at it, me setting it down in there, you can see these big gaps. I took way too much material off on that one, so I had to redo it. You know, can't have these kind of things without some sort of mess up. So I went ahead and redid it. Got this one nicely shaped, and it'll fit in exactly as it should. There's a little bit of gap here, but that right there will get taken up by that vinyl stuff that I'm going to be using. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. It just has to look good. But as you guys can tell, I am dirty. That stuff got everywhere. I need to clean up my garage. I think I'm gonna call it a day for today and come back out here tomorrow and start working on it again. Get those covered and get them installed. Want to go ahead and get the garage cleaned up. Take the rest of the time that I got today while it's still decently nice. I'm still pretty warm. Get this mess cleaned up, and then we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, came back out here after I got myself cleaned up and the shop cleaned up. Got both door panels taken off. Went ahead and removed both of the armrests. Got a little information I'll show you about that in a second about mine. But this right here is the passenger side, so that's what we're looking at for the door card uncovered and not completely done yet, but give you an idea what we're going for. And there's the driver's side. Should turn out pretty good. But when it came to the armrests, I pulled off the driver door panel and pulled off the armrest, and I noticed that you can see I have it taped right now, but right about in this area here, from about here down to here, it actually had separated from the plastic. So I actually sprayed what left Gorilla Glue I had in that can from my previous project in between in there after I cleaned it out. Sprayed the plastic, sprayed the material, and then I pressed down on it after got it set up a little bit, and then got it pushed back into place, and I actually masking taped it to hold it overnight for me. What's up, YouTube, and thanks for joining me again in another day here at Twisted Wrench Garage. Was able to get out to the store this morning. I picked up some more of the Gorilla Glue spray adhesive, the clear stuff that I used in the headliner. Worked really great last time, so I figured I'd go ahead and use it again. I still have a very small amount left over of the last can, but it's pretty much gone, so I have to grab some more. O'Reilly's themselves, they didn't have a vinyl color in stock that would match the vinyl material that I'm using, which is like a dark brown. While I was at Lowe's, I was just kind of glancing through paint, and I saw this Rust-Oleum Universal advanced formula, paint and primer all in one. It says any surface, any angle, fast drying. You're not worried about the rust preventative. The burnished amber color. I'm gonna test spray it and throw it next to this material here at some point when we go to decide to paint these and see how close it is, and we'll decide whether or not we're actually gonna go with it. If we do, we're gonna put that any surface to the test. We're gonna see how well it does, how well it holds up, if it matches, etc. But I guess first things first, I did, like you guys saw previously, I did do a small little repair on my armrest here. Let's go ahead and take the tape off of it, and let's see how it came out. Alright, so it's no longer bulging out. You can see maybe just right here, just a little bit where it's bulging out just a little bit. I wasn't able to get it pushed in and done as well as the rest of it, but the rest of it turned out fine. I'm really happy with that. So I'll have to clean these up really, really good, try to get all the oils and stuff off of them before we decide to throw that test paint on them. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and I'm going to pull off all the clips on the back of this panel. That way I'm not scratching up my bed here. I'd rather be safer than sorry, you know. And even if I break any of these little clips, I have a whole bag of them, so I'm not really that concerned about it. Alright. So that little screw popping through there. Alright. So now we've got that just set up to where it can receive what we want to put on it. And then now we can start working on getting these glued down. This is the passenger door panel. Got the template here. Again, we're going to be spraying our adhesive on to this side, the rougher side, and then the smoother side is what's going to actually go against the door panel itself. Because we want this rough side to hold our material for us. And I did go ahead and go through and wipe a lot of this down already, so it's not real dusty for when we go to put the material on. So let me grab the material, we'll grab some scissors, and we'll start getting to work on getting this one taken care of. Alright guys, so I pulled the truck up a little bit. I'm using it as a little workbench for now. I don't really feel like getting the sawhorses out, but got my material laid down here. Got to lay down long ways. I don't think I need to do it this way. So I'll go ahead and lay my material out here. And we'll cut our rough shape. Leaving about an inch all around this. Okay. Trim this side down a little bit. Okay. Turn this other side. Go. And move this out of our way. All right. I think I already messed up. Yeah, that's going to want to go on the other side. So let's go ahead and set this aside so we can reuse it. Let's not mess this one up. It's going to have to go. That is that one. We did it like this, so we're going to have to flip it over. Do it like that. too short. Oh well. Go ahead and cut that off. Go. Okay. There's our passenger side. Now, we can actually work on gluing this section down. Don't know how much is left in here, if any at all. Got a piece of cardboard down here so I don't get glue all over my truck. Alright, that one's pretty much gone. Also gonna throw some on this. Alright, we're gonna let that set up for about 5-10 minutes so it can get tacky. Alright guys, been about 5 to 8 minutes or so. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting this thing in position. There we go. Good press down. We'll start working on our edges. I know I didn't really go over it very well in the last one how I did it, but hopefully I can share it with you better this time. Edge. Then we'll let that sit, and then we'll start doing our edges. We're going to start from the center and work our way out, and we'll leave the corners for the very last, I think. Because that'll go that way, that'll go that way, this will go here, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with these corners and such. I'm not quite sure on these curves, but I will figure it out. Alright, I'd say that's good enough. So let's push down in the center. We're going to pull and fold over. Do that until we get to the edge. So good.
there off, we'll square. So we can do that. Same thing over here. Okay. And we'll take this other square off. Back over. Do this. Oops. Probably would have been beneficial if I had not actually cut these beforehand. We'll pay for that now. Got two little cuts there. We'll push this end down so we can go around the curve, and we're going to pull this one over it. Same thing here. Have to cut. This one you cut down to like the apex of the edge. Alright. Then we'll pull, set our edge. We need to do the same thing down here. Cut straight to our edge. Straight to our edge. Those push down. We'll trim off the excess over here. And we'll pull this over. Probably going to have to add a little more adhesive in these corners. I didn't really pre-plan for that. Cut off the extra. Going through and I'm going to cut off this extra here. There we go. Just clean it up a little bit, make it look a little better. I know this isn't going to be an area that you're really going to see, but this right here, cutting off all this extra will help keep it sit flush or whatever to the door panel. Corners down again. Spray that one. I didn't spray that one. Already getting warm.
first full panel made. I'm done for the day. I got as much as I could done today. Got this passenger side done, driver's side. The top portion is done and the bottom is wrapped, but I ran out of those antique brass pins, and actually went up to Hobby Lobby to see if I could grab another pack, and they didn't have any. So I'm gonna get online and see if I can find some and see if I can get it done that way. I think I found some on Amazon, I think, so I can get those ordered and get those in real quick. That way I can get this finished up. Now, I don't have the armrest put back on just yet. I do have those over here. As you saw, I did make the repair on the one. I went through and I threw out some of that paint on a piece of cardboard, and I don't know if you can really see the color all that well. I even sprayed some on this vinyl here, and I mean, it's close-ish, but it's got a lot more of a lighter brown in it, kind of a grayish kind of tone. So I don't think I'm gonna go that route this time. I think I'm gonna leave them be for now. Show you what it looks like with the armrest on it. See, that is the driver's side. I'm gonna grab this passenger side. I'll just set it on here for now. Well, I'm gonna grab the screws off of it. Give me 1 second. Alright, I got that armrest just kind of sitting on there right now, just kind of give you an idea of what it's going to look like. I think I'm just going to leave it that color. I think it looks fine. Maybe one day if I find the right color, I'll clean it up and paint it. But I'm happy with the way it's turning out right now. When not knowing the exact color, I don't want to really make it look any kind of mismatched, as is, you know, it already is a little bit mismatched. This is a little bit darker than this down here, but I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. But what do you guys think? I mean, I think it's gonna look good in the truck. It's gonna match that headliner. It's gonna look really good. So that's another day here on Twisted Wrench Garage. Got those door panels pretty much almost all the way done. Not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna spray paint those armrests. I'm just gonna leave those the way they are. See about getting those pins online. That way I can get that finished up, and then I can get those installed on the truck, and we can get to work on getting this project finished. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some research on those pins, and I'll get back with you guys when I get those in. All right, welcome back to another day at Twisted Wrench Garage. I did get to get another pack of those antique brass small decorative tacks for these door panels here. I was just shy 13, sadly. So went up and bought another little $250 pack, $2.50 pack of the tacks. Go ahead and get this lined out the rest of the way. I had to go to 2 different stores. The first store I went to, they didn't have any more, so I had to go out to another store. Luckily they had some. So let's get this all taken care of real quick, and we can finish this project all up. All right. Well, these are a different shade. What? They're a little bit darker of a shade than the previous ones I got. You can actually see that. But they're gonna have to work, so oh well. Because I'm not going to another store to get more. Grab my pliers. This girl lined up here. And I'll show you the door panels again when I'm done. I did, when it came to that first little panel when it came to that first little panel that I had done, I was still trying to get used to the whole spacing and stuff. So there is a little bit of, you know, whoop-de-doo here and there. But, I mean, I'm not that concerned about it, honestly. Just want to get this done, get it all installed so I can see what it's going to look like. I'm excited. That lined up there. Should be good right there. Give a good, one good tap. Grab my little tapper thing here. I'm just dropping everything. Probably be best if I just set this stuff in here on the fender well, wouldn't it? So we'll just go through and get the rest of this done real quick. That way we can get it all taken care of. Put in the truck. Alright, we got all the tabs on those tacks bent over, so now we can actually put it on the panel. So get it positioned. We need to flip it over. Yes we do. And it's going to go in just like so. Alright, boys and girls, that's installed. Now I need to drill out the spots for the window crank. Alright, we're just going to use the old stepper bit here. Well, I'm going to do this side real slow. I don't want to tear my material. Just opening it up a little bit. And then our window crank will cover that up. So there's one done. Both of our window crank holes. Now all we got to do is reinstall the clips on this and we can put them back in the truck. Alright, I got the passenger armrest on. I don't know if I actually showed you guys how these went on and came off whenever I pulled my panels on. I just can't remember. But this plate, you turn your door panel upside down and this plate goes in just like this, okay? And I'm gonna set this down. I'm gonna get my screws from my armrest out of it. And there's 4 screws that hold it. What I like to do is hold that in position and set your armrest there. And then you're just gonna hold it with your other hand while you start your screws on the inside here. And once you've got 2 started, you can flip it over and get this one here. Tighten these ones up, and then we got one more. I'll show you where that one is. There we go. And we're going to flip it over, still upside down. And then there's another screw that goes right here. And that's our driver. So let me get you guys in a position. I'll start getting these panels put back on. All right, now that we have all of our door panel clips in, we can install the door panel. So I'm gonna line the bottom pins first. May need to go with a little bit bigger screws for this bottom portion. It's wanting to pop back out of those little slots that it's able to screw into. So there's that one. Let me grab the tools I need to put all my stuff back together. Is that gonna work? We've encountered our first issue. Yeah, I think I need to take those holes bigger. So let me do that real quick. All right, take two of trying to get the window crank on. I don't think I'm gonna be able to use my plastic little black ring here. So yeah, that looks good. Yeah, that'll match up just fine. So in the fully down position, I don't know about the other one. I think I should have it. Yeah, let's go right there. Why not? Grab my screw for it. Wherever it went, there it is. Put that in, and we'll put our door handle back in. Go, there's that. Then the door handle, this is the more challenging part. You have to, and I've gone over this one before, and I may do some damage to the door panel here. I don't like these things. And if anyone has a trick to getting these hooked up a lot easier, please let me know in the comments down below. See if I have something I can grab a hold of that with and pull it. I really don't want to damage my door panel anymore. Here we go. We'll just shove that in there. Just like so. Put this back on. There's that. We just got one screw to put in there, which I think the other side was missing its screw, so I'll have to find one. But that is that door panel in. Let's go and get the other side done. And I'll have to drill out that other window crank as well, so I'll take care of that. What I'm doing on the window crank, which I figured I'd show you guys, I went ahead and drilled it out the rest of the way, and then I got a big
chisel. That's about the size that I need, and I'm gonna heat it up just like I did in the previous video about my headliner, which I probably should have done with the screws that I put into this. Pre-drilled those, and then did the heat trick with my pokey hand driver. But I'll do it for this window crank, and if you guys want to do it for any of that kind of stuff, you guys know you can do it. We're going to get this nice and hot. You can see where I did it on the other one. There's still some material left on it. We'll get that nice and warm. We're just going to push it through, and it'll melt our hole. I'm actually going to bring it out here and drop it. It goes straight through. And that's how I'm doing the window crank hole. Grab my pliers and pick this thing up and move it, because it's hot. And you just kind of push in the leftovers if there are any, or pull them off. And then now we can install our driver's side door panel. Put this clip that fell off back on. Needs closed up actually. Ugh. If you have these clips that are falling off, you just close up this end just a little bit. That was a little much. Make them back up, and you'll be able to put it back on nice and snug. So let's get this other door panel put back on. All right, project door panel done. Got those installed. They're looking awesome. Really like that. Got the inside cleaned up. Got that other side on. We'll go ahead and go over there. Those look awesome. Super happy with the way it came out. There's the driver's side. Driver's side is obviously a little bit better since I did it after the passenger. And the passenger was kind of my little trial period of getting everything kind of squared away and sorted. But man, that looks good. Definitely makes the door panel pop a lot more. Gives a little bit more color. I like that two-tone. I think at some point, I think I'm going to take that same material and transplant it into these center sections for these seats. So I'm going to try to look at finding some sort of sewing machine. I think I know somebody that might have one, so I may see about getting a sewing machine so I can take these covers off, redo the centers, and then throw them back in. That looks awesome. What you guys think? I think it really makes it pop. Matches that headliner real well. Here's that intake manifold that my uncle picked up for me. Edelbrock 4-barrel carburetor, 4-barrel intake manifold. The 4-barrel Edelbrock carburetor I already had. That came off of my 72 Plymouth Satellite Roadrunner clone. When I had it, I actually sold it, and that's how I got that Daytona Charger actually. But that's a whole nother story. But if you can see that D4B Edelbrock, I did a little research on this. This particular intake manifold was actually built and designed for the 65 and 66 273 V8, the V8 that came out before the 318. And like I said, I don't think I can run my AC with this right here the way it is, because it's so tall, and my AC mounting brackets actually have to go kind of in this area over here, and I don't think that's going to mesh well. So this may actually be a better contender on that other engine that we're building for Project Black Pearl. But I thought I'd share that with you guys. This is kind of a rare intake manifold from my understanding. My uncle picked it up for $50. Super great deal. Looked it up online. The last one I saw that sold online was sold for like $260 something. So they definitely got some value in them. So if we can't use it, we can definitely get some profit from it for other projects. I do appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode of Twisted Wrench Garage. We got these door panels all fancied up now. Super happy with them. I think they look awesome. Turned out exactly how I wanted them to. With the exception of a few little whoop-de-doos here and there. You know, just little gaps that, you know, I could have done better on my template with. Yeah, I could go through and redo it all, but I think it's fine. Definitely have had some thoughts about the screws when it comes to these screws and making them look a little bit better, making them look more like these buttons, but I'm not really that concerned about it. I think it looks really good together. Definitely fits well together. I'm glad I didn't actually paint the armrest. That color I chose, it was more of a gray than it was a dark brown, and this stuff is more of a dark brown. I know it looks black in the video probably, but it is a dark brown. So, and finding a color that would match this, I think it's going to be challenging. So I think leaving these the factory color to match the rest of the door panel works out just fine. So again, I do appreciate you guys tuning in and watching and following along with me while I built my custom door panels. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to share, and we'll see you guys on the next one.